Yes, people, Manscaped is back, but this time it's not for below the belt grooming. Manscaped brings to you the Beard Hedger, the best product on the market when it comes to beard trimmers. The Beard Hedger is unique due to its number of gradient settings. As someone who's purchased this, I won't turn to any other beard trimmer. Check it out for yourself at manscaped.com. And don't forget to use code FTM20 to get 20% off of this product.
Morning, people. How you doing? Hope you're well. Hope you enjoyed last night. Hope you enjoyed your day, and I hope you're looking forward to the next one. You probably didn't enjoy last night if you were a Gooner. It certainly wasn't the best, and that's what we're going to start this morning. I think this morning it's just going to be a little bit different. I'm not too interested in who's linked with who and which club's looking at what. The transfer window is clearly shut, and there is some rumours this morning, which I'm sure that we can bring to you on a later date. But I just kind of feel like now that I've taken the emotion out of it and watched back some of the highlights, I just want to talk about some of the concerns I have really this morning. So that's what we're going to do instead. Something a little bit different, which I'm sure most of you Gooners will all be here to listen to anyway. So that's what we're going to do. Make sure you do me a favor though, people. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit subscribe. And if you do want to join as a member, then you can click join. Make sure you hit the notification bell. A lot of you haven't done that. So you keep saying to me, when does the show? Hit the notification bell and you won't need to keep messaging me and asking me when the next show is, because it will pop up on your phones. So please make sure you hit the notification bell, hit subscribe, hit like, and we can get to it. Good morning to every single one of you that is listening live, and of course, all of those that are watching on catch up. Well, I don't know where to start really from last night. I went and, go check out my fan cam if you want my match reaction, my raw reaction, me getting quite annoyed, me getting quite frustrated. What I sometimes like to do is look at things a little bit more sensibly the next day once you calm down, once you get realised to it. Now, look, I'm making out as if we got hammered here 3-0. That was probably the biggest positive, that we didn't lose the game, that we didn't allow Atalanta to actually create much. And when I look at things, Atalanta and Arsenal were actually quite similar in terms of the result. I don't think it was an unfair result. I think it was probably about fair. I think it was about right. I actually predicted a draw, so I can't be sitting there angry. What I am frustrated about is the lack of creativity, the lack of chances that we actually did create, and also where we did have a chance to win the game, we fluffed our lines. Can't fault us defensively again, can't fault David Raya. We're going to come on to them for sure. But I just want to give a bit of an overview about why I'm so frustrated and why I knew as soon as that window shut that we hadn't done enough. And last night is one of the many games we will see this season where we will be crying out for a striker. It's one of the many games where we'll be crying out for an Odegaard replacement. And it's also one of the many games that we'll be shouting at options from the bench that perhaps aren't there. And what I mean by that is, yes, we've got players that can replace 100%. We saw them all come on. But do we have a plan with it? Or is it maybe we'll throw Nwaneri on in, no, let's throw Sterling, no, let's throw Trost, no, let's throw. Do we have an actual plan after any player gets injured? And it just doesn't look like we've had a plan for Odegaard. It doesn't. Because 1 minute Havertz is dropping there, 1 minute Trossard's dropping there, 1 minute you've got Sterling who can play there. Ethan was coming on in the North London derby. And then I've got to bring it up again that I just thought it was so obvious that we needed a striker. And if Jesus is going to spend his game offside and we haven't got anybody else that can be that kind of killer in the box, then why didn't we buy a striker? Now, I will say in defence to people that are going, we don't need that, we don't need that. I don't actually think it would have changed much last night. I really don't. I don't actually believe that a striker and an attacking midfielder would have done much more to change last night. Not because they still wouldn't be good enough, because we weren't playing well enough. Like, I don't really understand what was going wrong with our midfield last night. But we didn't create anything for our front three. So you can put Haaland up top, you can put Mbappe on the wing, and you can put Vinny Jr. on the other wing. I don't think we're winning that game last night because we didn't create anything for them. It was bad. It was bad, guys. Really bad. And going forward, I have concerns. Now, I'm going to come on to the positives in a little while because there are some, trust me. But I want to get your thoughts. So this is your warning to ask me questions in the chat, because I like to engage and interact with you guys, your loyal fans, your loyal community. I love the 12th man community, and I can't thank you guys enough. But put some questions in the chat for me. If you want to throw in super chats, they'll go to the front of the queue. But put in a queue so I know it's a question, because I want to engage with some of you guys about what you saw last night and some of the questions and concerns or positives or worries that you have going forward. But here's mine. Here's mine. I don't think Rice is an 8. I've got to be honest. I felt it for a while. The only time I saw Rice playing well in the 8 was when we come back from Dubai. And we were smashing teams. 6 against West Ham, 6 against Sheffield United, 5s against, I think it was Palace, Burnley, and someone else. He looks really good. But the difference was the team were absolutely thriving, and going forward, we were good. Rice is a 6. I don't think he's an 8. Yeah, he can drive on the ball. I just don't look at him as a Gerrard or a Lampard. I look at him more as a Carrick. I don't look at him as a goal-scoring midfielder that's going to drive us forward. I look at him as a 6, and I think there's times where actually he got the ball in the 6 and he did drive it forward still. Rodri does that. So there's time for him to do that. There's attributes that are going to help him for sure, but you can still use them as a 6. What I get frustrated with is I see him trying to play the 8 and I don't see him playing well enough there. I know how good he is. So that frustrates me. My other worry, Thomas Partey is not the same player. He's not. Thomas Partey is a player that should be sitting on the bench and that should be coming on. Now, I understand that maybe he would be if Marino is back in the side and Erdegaard is back in the side. At the moment, we've got a makeshift midfield. I said that Thomas Partey and Jorginho should be around to play 15 games this season. They've already played 5, I think. Well, Partey has. Jorginho, I think, has played 3. We're needing them more than we should be. Thomas Partey looks like an old man now, I'm afraid. You know, last night on the Big Six, they were calling him Uncle Thomas because he just looks like he's finished. He's so slow. He's getting beaten now. He's pulling back in the box. How many times have you seen Partey do that? How many times have you seen Thomas Partey get beat and go, oh, I'm going to pull you back because you're beating me? I don't think he's got the legs now. He was sloppy in his passing, giving the ball away. There was a moment where he gave the ball away and Arteta looked at him and he was going, Thomas, come on. Don't let your head drop. It's a worry. And the worry in midfield again is the number 10 role for me. What's happening there? What is happening there? Is it Trossard? Is it Sterling? Is it Ethan? Is it Havertz? I don't like it that we've got, well, we can play any of them. It's brilliant. We've got every option there. I don't think any of those options are working. I don't think any of those options I've gone, wow, Trossard is the best of that bunch. But we needed somebody to come in. I was crying out for Eze. I was crying out for Dani Olmo. I was crying out for a centre forward, whether it be Gyökeres or Osimhen or Tony. It wasn't like we went into this market in the summer and was like, well, we need a number 10 and a striker, but there ain't anyone there. They were all crying out for us. Tony was 40 million. Eze, he was it 60 million release clause? We spent 20 million net. For 100 million pounds, we could have completed our squad, but we decided not to. Whether it's PSR, whether we don't really want them, whether we think the squad's good enough, nobody actually knows. The financial people will tell you it's PSR. I will tell you that we think the squad's good enough and that Mikel Arteta and Edu, etc., have got together and thought that this is good enough to go and win a title. And actually, it's embarrassing because it's not. It's nowhere near good enough. You can see that. It's nowhere near good enough to win a title. We'll be in the race, no doubt. We'll probably get to the end again, no doubt. But I don't think this squad's good enough to go through 4 competitions again. I expect us, even with this squad, to go very, very deep in both the domestic cups and the Champions League. but I don't think he's good enough to get us across the line, unfortunately. So, I don't know. It's strange to say this because my biggest concerns weren't just the three in midfield. I think Rice is a 6, not an 8. I don't think Rice is an 8, therefore we need an 8. And I don't think we've got adequate cover for Erdegaard. So all three of those positions are a worry until Erdegaard and Marino come back. And that could be October, November or later. But the front three, my word. Probably one of the worst performances I've seen from a front three in Arsenal history. Saka, shambolic. Took one free kick that nearly went in bottom left. That was all he did. Every delivery from a corner wasn't good enough. Every pass looked sloppy. Didn't take on his man. Didn't try and deliver any crosses. It was poor. It was a real bang average winger performance. And then I look over the other side, and I'm not seeing the kid. I love him. I love Saka. But I didn't see him. I didn't see Martinelli enough. I didn't see him almost nearly enough. And when I did see him, he's trying, he's working hard, he's running. Sometimes that ain't enough. Because I could do that. I could go up, run, give 110%. If I ain't good enough in that game, it don't matter how hard I'm running or how hard I'm trying or how fast I am. When he's running, he's still running with his head down. And when he actually is in a position to shoot and score, he loses his composure. Completely, by the way. 2 chances he had. The first one I gave him a little bit of a fair play because he didn't expect it to come to him that quick and he was off balance and he was leaning back, so it went over. The next one, he's got no excuses. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece of play from Arsenal. Probably the only move that I could honestly say was good from us in that evening of play, which was a brilliant touch from Kai Havertz, fantastically flicked through to Sterling, a brilliant pass through to Martinelli, and all he's got to do is slow down, keep his head, look at the ball, look at the goal, and slot it home. But instead, it's a rush of blood to the head again from Gabriel Martinelli. He still looks like he's 17. He hasn't really developed since the age of 17, has he? This is the problem I've got with him. We got him and we thought, what could he be like? Now, is that the manager's fault? Is it the player's fault? Is it a bit of both? I don't know. But I honestly do believe there's an opportunity for Martinelli to have improved by now. And it worries me. Because at 17, he was raw and I thought, wow, this player's going to be unbelievable. But I've got to be honest. I looked at him and I thought, who the hell is this player? Because it ain't one that I've recognised over the last couple of years. One that I said was the best in the league at left wing. One that I said was going to be phenomenal. One that I said had a ceiling as high as some of the greats. Lots of people, Rio Ferdinand, this guy could be the next Neymar, the next R9. He ain't going to be anywhere near that. Anywhere near that. And unfortunately, we're going to have a situation on our hands where we've got to try and get the best out of a player that at the moment looks so low of confidence that doesn't even deserve to be starting in the first team. I wouldn't be playing Martinelli at the weekend. I know what I'm going to get. He's going to fluff his lines. Maybe you play Sterling, maybe you play Trossard, I don't know, but someone needs to come out on that left-hand side. Put it this way. I really like Martinelli and I really like Trossard, but Arteta doesn't. I'll tell you why he doesn't. Yeah, he's playing them both at the moment because he hasn't got anybody else. But 2 years ago, we wanted to buy Mudryk, who's a left winger. The reason that we wanted to do that is because he doesn't quite have faith on the left-hand side yet. Who do we want to buy this summer? Nico Williams, a left winger. And everybody was going, why the hell do you want a left winger? We need a right winger to cover for Saka. Arteta don't think so. Arteta thinks we need a left winger to replace Gabriel Martinelli and Trossard because neither of them have been good enough. Now, Trossard's good when he comes on and scores goals. I personally prefer him in the middle, centrally. Always have done. Always thought he's a good number 9. Probably as good in the 10 as he is on the left, if not better already. So that's what I'm looking at. But Mikel Arteta wants a winger. Big up to Tone, new member of the channel. Thank you so much, my bro. If you would like to be a member of the channel, please click join and follow the instructions. You can support the channel in that way. Thank you so much, Tone. I really appreciate that. Big up to you and big up to everybody that's done that so far. So the front three was a problem. Kai Havertz last night, frustrating. Falls over a lot, but to be fair, I don't mind if he's winning fouls. But other than that, I thought it was a poor performance. I didn't see much from him. And I'm fed up of saying, well, Martinelli worked hard at least. Well, Kai Havertz caused a nuisance at least. Well, Saka did actually pass the ball and it counts as an assist. I need to see more than that. That can't be excuses anymore. I can't see excuses from a front three that's just not delivering. And then we're trying to look at the bare minimum and clutching at straws to say, actually, it's not so bad. So Martinelli needs to up his game. I need to see Saka at his best. And I can't afford to have a Kai Havertz performance where he stands up front and just flicks the ball on a couple of times, because we might as well just go and bought Olivier Giroud back. So it was poor. I'm sorry. There's no getting away from it. Most of the time I get a lot of negative comments. Oh my God, what's the matter with this guy? He's going mad. This is ridiculous. We didn't lose the game. Last night, silence, because everybody knew. All of the ultra positives, the toxic positives that people called them, were silent because they knew it was crap last night. There was nothing to go, yeah, but come on, oh no, actually we were bad. There's nothing to say other than we were poor last night. Now, Atalanta are not an easy side. You don't rock up at their gaff and go, right, 3 points, please. They beat Liverpool at Anfield 3-0. They've beaten teams before that are better than them. So I expected a tough game. That's why I went for a 1-1 draw. But I thought we'd have chances in the game. Most of the time you watch extended highlights or highlights of the game back and you go, do you know what? Fair play. Could have scored 3 there. I looked back and I thought, well, Saka had a free kick. We had nothing from set pieces. And Martinelli fluffed his lines and put it over. That's it. There's nothing. And by the way, Atalanta had chances. Now, I know Quadrado is a little bit of a laugh and people were laughing, oh my God, the Chelsea reject. But he had 2 chances that looked like they were going to cause some problems. At least they were having a dig from outside the box. They had a penalty that was saved, which we'll come to. But I didn't remember many chances from either team in the game. It was a poor night of football. And a lot of people that were neutral were saying it was a snooze fest. It sorted my insomnia out. Rivals were saying they all fell asleep through it. It was one of the most boring games of football they've seen. It was. It was. Honestly, it really was. It was not fun at all. Mikel Arteta admitted after the game that it was a tough game, that it was one that he expected, that it was really hard to get through them. They nullified what we were trying to do. But really, I'm looking at ourselves. I'm not looking at Atalanta. I'm not looking at Atalanta and thinking, cool, they were good. It was hard to break them down. We didn't even try to break them down. There was nothing. Now, he brought the subs on. Jorginho come on, sloppy at times, but brought some discipline and some good passing in. Calafiori, I thought, looked really good driving forward on the ball and actually showed a little bit something different when he come on. And then obviously there was Raheem Sterling and Trossard. Well, Raheem Sterling, I didn't think looked amazing at all. And Trossard was very hit and miss. Turning on the ball, it looked beautiful. It looked like Santi at times. But passing was pretty poor at times. So I don't think there was anybody that changed the game when they come on. I thought Calafiori was one of the positives. So frustrating. But I suppose we can end by talking on our defence, because it has been really quite impressive over the last few games. And when we look back at this run of fixtures and we look back at the away games that we've played and the tough places we've gone away from home and the fact that we've had to squeeze in games, I think we will look at the defence and think, yeah, that's why we've got a chance this season. If we had to win this league with our midfield or our front line, I'd wave the white flag out now. But because we've got a defence that's so solid and stacked, we've always got a chance. We've always got a chance. And I personally feel like there's an opportunity for us to always deliver, take something from a game, and always keep a clean sheet. Because for me, I just feel like it's chalk and cheese from 10 years ago. When we line up in the tunnel now, I can see it. We used to have Hector Bellerin, now we've got Ben White. We used to have Socrates, Mustafi and David Luiz. Now we've got Gabriel and Saliba. We used to have Kolasinac. Yeah. Now we've got Calafiori and Timber. We're stacked. Absolute stacked. So I feel we've always got a chance when we've got that defence. And again, last night it showed. I thought Saliba was mustard. He was phenomenal. Calafiori, I mentioned, coming on. Timber with a few tackles. Gabriel, as always. Ben White, I mean, he did his job, but I didn't think he was phenomenal again, if I'm honest. And I wouldn't actually have any complaints if we actually put Timber at right back, left back Calafiori, and Saliba and Gabriel, because Ben White has not been great in the last couple of games. But there we go. I want to read out this comment. I don't know if this is Colin. Dan Potts has become real snobby. We ain't breaking anyone down with Havertz in midfield. And Atalanta are a class team. So the problem I've got with this, Colin, is you're happy with this performance. That's the problem I've got. You're basically sticking up for what is a poor performance there by saying, well, what do you expect? They're a class team. I don't care if they're a class team or not. If we can't beat Atalanta, we ain't winning this competition, right? Let's just have it right. If we put in a performance like that, we ain't winning this competition. If we go to any ground with a performance like that, we ain't winning the tie. So you can call me snobby and say, Havertz back in midfield, what do you expect? We'll talk to your manager then, because he's the one putting him there. So I don't really get it. I don't really get what people are looking at. Okay, so he's come back at me. This is what I like. We're going to go through some questions in a minute, but this is what I like. People engaging with me in the chat. Colin, I'm not happy with the performance. We don't have the players to think we can smash Atlanta. I never said we should smash Atlanta. I never said that we should smash Atlanta. I went and predicted a 1-1 draw. But the performance was poor, Colin. It was. It was really poor. And if we don't have the players to think we can smash Atlanta, I guess that you want Edu and Arteta out and you've had enough of the Cronkies then. I've not spoken to you before, Colin, so maybe you've had enough of Arsenal, and maybe that's what you're saying, is everyone needs to go. The Cronkies, they're not good enough. They're not supporting Arteta. Arteta's not good enough with this team that he's created in the last 6 years, and Edu hasn't provided us the funds or sorted out the negotiations for transfers, so the team isn't good enough. Maybe that's what you're saying. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Let's see. Andrew, your standards are higher than Potts, and as a United fan, I respect you. Big up, bro. I appreciate that. Not everyone does. As you can see, this is funny as well. Is this at me? You're not a real fan. You don't even go to watch the match. Oh, it's brilliant. You're not a real fan unless you go to every single game. Wow. Unbelievable. It's the way it is. Okay, this come from Colin because Colin's come back to me now. Well, we didn't really go out and show we wanted to win things with that transfer window unless you think Sterling's good. No, I'm with you. What I'm trying to get at is you and I actually agreeing, but you're calling me a snob. And I don't know why. Because actually, we didn't do well enough in the transfer window. We actually did not do well enough in the transfer window. That was why I gave it a 4 and 5 out of 10 when everyone else was telling me it was a 7, 8, 9. It wasn't. We've bought an injured midfielder, a left back that's not playing, and Sterling who's coming on and trying to do what he used to do when he was 23, but failing. That's a poor transfer window. So I guess you're a bit of a Cronky out and, you know, Edu out and stuff as well, because I've had enough after this season if we're not going to be delivering. If he's not winning something this season and doing that, what do we do? Honest question for you, chat. If we finish trophyless this season, what actually happens? Don't matter. We go again. Don't go. It don't matter. You just go again. Can't sack him. You just go again. That's what it'll be. So there we go. Look, someone who does deserve a mention before we go through the questions is David Raya. I honestly believe that's one of the best double saves I've seen in a long time. I thought the double save against Villa was brilliant. But when I look at the striker scenario, when people are saying it's poor from the striker, I can get behind it. But I honestly just feel like a striker just thinks, I've scored. Just do that. And both times, David Raya saved it. Now, people were then looking at it going, world-class save, and then go, actually, should the striker done better? No, it was a world-class save. It was. And I'll tell you why it was. You can say the striker should have done better on both of those occasions with Watkins and obviously with the Atalanta striker that I can't remember his name, right? Was it Rita or someone like that? For me, David Raya has done everything perfect there to allow that shot to be saved. So that is why when you practice as a goalkeeper and you do those drills where you save and then you get up and you save again. Sorry, there's something in my eye. That is why it is absolutely perfect if you watch the coordination and the positioning of David Raya after that penalty save. Now, I'm no goalkeeping coach and I've never played in goal, but my friend has at a high level. He would be so proud of that, David Raya, because that is something you look at and you go, that's worth training for 20 years for. Because the save is good enough, right? He's guessed where he's going and he's put the save up. When that bounces up like that, you're always told as a goalkeeper, parry it out as best you can away from danger. He's got what he can on it and it's come up and you must think, oh my God. To him to then fall, get up and then coordinate his body and position himself in a position where he's got an actual chance of getting back up and saving the second shot, already the goalkeeper's happy. If you've put yourself in a scenario where you think, right, I've saved and I've actually got myself somehow back up and I'm ready to go again, boom. That's for me where I'm at. Congratulations to what has been the best player at Arsenal in the last 5-6 games. He's been phenomenal, mate. Absolutely phenomenal. So if everyone's still crying about Ramsdale and how bad we treated him, move on, grow up, and let's get on with this guy because he's been phenomenal. I can go back to my fan cams and talk about the Aaron Ramsdale situation. I don't think it was dealt with fairly. It wasn't because I thought Ramsdale was the best goalkeeper since sliced bread and, oh my God, we're getting rid of a David Seaman here. It was never that. It was always the fact that I felt he treated him badly after having 2 seasons of playing really, really well for Arsenal and saving us in games. You can see why Aaron Ramsdale has been dropped. You can see why Ray has been preferred, because his kicking's better, his saves better, his reflexes are as good, his coming for crosses is better, his attributes from playing out from the back are much better. I get it. You have to say hands up. And I'm not going to just apologise to David Raya and Mikel Arteta for saying that I didn't believe it was a massive upgrade. I'm going to apologise for saying that I wanted somebody to replace David Raya, because he really wasn't good last season for about 3 months. The first 3 months I thought, he's made too many errors. I don't have confidence anytime the ball's coming across. But I think once he brushed off the cobwebs, and I'll tell you why I think he made them mistakes, by the way, because Aaron Ramsdale's name is being shouted out across the Emirates while he was playing in goal, because he was being told that Aaron Ramsdale's coming to take his place back and the fans want you out and Aaron Ramsdale put back in. When you're told that, you're not exactly felt very loved by anybody other than the manager. I think the game that saved his Arsenal, or made him realise that he's an Arsenal player and the fans love him, is Porto, when we beat them in the penalty shootout. And since then, he started to improve his performances. Towards the back end of the season, he got better. And I've got to say, wow, this season he's been phenomenal. And I think I saw yesterday a podcast saying that other than Alisson, he's right up there now as being one of the next best. I'm not sure I'm going to go that far. I still put Emi Martinez and Edison ahead of him. But I do think he's right up there now with being one of the best goalkeepers in the league. And currently, he is the best goalkeeper in the league this season so far in terms of the performances if he was to pick a team of the season. So there's goalkeepers out there I'd have ahead of him, 100%. But right now, you can't doubt what he's doing in goal. He's been superb. And I'm talking superb home and away, because he's already made 2 world-class saves against Wolves, good save against Brighton, 2 world-class saves against Aston Villa, a world-class penalty save and double save now against Atalanta. And we're only 5 or 6 games in. He's been brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So that's what I've got to mention David Raya for. Fair play. Let's come to some questions, shall we? DR says, we've been toothless in recent weeks. Why do you think that is? I honestly believe that we are struggling with the balance of defensively sound and attacking toothlessness. I'll tell you why. I think away from home, we look so much better as a unit. At home, we look better going forward. There's no coincidence that the evidence shows that at home we concede more and lose more games because we go for it at home a bit more. I think away from home, we haven't been as good in front of goal. I don't think he wants to be. I think away from home, he'd happily shithouse a 1-0 set piece, win if he can in every game. George Graham style. At home, he wants to be a lot more expressive and bring entertainment to the fan base more. And I think that is why when you look back in the last few seasons, we've lost games at home that we shouldn't have lost. That's why I think it is. And it needs to change. We need to balance it. And I've said that against Manchester City. I want to see defensively resolute, but I want to see us take it to them when we can. Mr. Waffle, Dan, to be honest, as soon as I saw the team, I knew we wouldn't win the game. Why are fans seeing we need a striker, but the club don't? Look, I've been crying out for a striker since 2020, mate. I've been wanting us to replace Aubameyang for about 4 seasons. I don't know is the answer. I've run out of ideas as to why Arteta doesn't want a striker, but I kind of believe it's him who doesn't want one. A lot of people think it's the other way around, and Kroenkes and Edu just aren't giving the money for one. Why would they give him 105 million for a midfielder, but not one for a striker? Why would we be linked with Vlahovic and then Sesko, but then still not get one if we didn't want a striker? I think they want Isak, but they know he's not available till the summer. That's the only thing I can think now. Why would you let Tony, Osimhen, and Gyökeres not come to for the summer? You must be going for Isak the following summer. You must be. You must be. I don't know, Mr. Waffle. We'll see, man. We'll see what happens. The fan base clearly know it, though. Well, not all of them, but most of them do. Could the players be losing faith in what Arteta's doing? No, I don't think so. I think the players look like they're still playing for the manager. I don't look at it now and think I don't understand what this fan base, what the manager's asking, and the players and the manager. There's no telepathy there. I don't think that's the case. I think it's still there or thereabouts, but it's not looking good in front of goal. That is, that's for sure. Helsinki says, if you don't win any cups or win the league, is it time to sack the manager? Players must be starting to lose faith with the manager. I don't think the players are. I really don't. I don't think the players are losing faith in the manager. You know, we're in a good run, guys. We're in a good run. You know, we're making out here that we can't win a game and that we've got to get rid of the manager. Because I'll tell you this, if we were to go and not lose at the Etihad and you look back and think, right, what we've done, we beat Wolves, we drew to Brighton, but we had 10 men. We beat Villa at Villa Park. We beat Spurs at Spurs. And we drew to Man City and Atlanta away. We haven't lost a game in those 6 games. And, wow, they were tough. So I don't think you can sack a manager. I'm waiting until May. Mikel Arteta signed a new deal. He's here, whatever. He will be our manager for the next 5 years, no matter what. So I'm done with saying we should sack him. We shouldn't sack him. We should give him this chance. We've got to look at context. We shouldn't sack him. We should sack him. We shouldn't sack. I'm kind of done with that because the club have decided they are not sacking Mikel Arteta. The only way we will let him go is if he comes 8th this year and the fan base turn. That's the only way. We're going to come 2nd this year at the very bare minimum. Hopefully we win the league. If we don't win it and there's 0 trophies again, I would replace the manager, but they're not going to. They're not going to. And let me tell you this. I would only replace Mikel Arteta with a winning manager, with a CV that says I win. Carlo Ancelotti, Simone Inzaghi, Diego Simeone, who else is there? Zidane. Those are the managers that I would be replacing him with. Not, I think I fancy bringing De Zerbi in now, or think maybe Graham Potter can come in and do a good... Nah, none of that rubbish. For me, it's either Mikel Arteta and Don Carlo standard, or it's staying with Mikel Arteta. That's what I will say. Big up Helsinki, I hope you're well, bro. Much appreciate you for being here. Last few questions. This one comes from Mum. Says, I really don't want to lose Saliba. If we don't win something this year, what's going to keep him at Arsenal? Look, I think he's going to stay at Arsenal for the next couple of years. The contract suggests that we've got him till 2027. We need him to sign a new deal. He's on just under £200,000 a week, which means we need to be offering him around about 300 to 350k. He's on 400,000 euros a week at Real Madrid if he goes there. That's what they're offering centre-backs, from what I can see in terms of the calibre of centre-back Saliba is. So that means we're going to have to offer him at least 300 to 350k for him to stay at Arsenal. Now, maybe money will talk and he'll stay here. I think Saliba will end up leaving and going to Real Madrid, but I hope it's when he's 28, 29, not 24, 25. That's all I'm saying. Anthony or Martinelli, don't make me laugh, Horizon. Don't make me laugh. Martinelli all day long. Anthony is an absolute bum. Tom, are Saliba's comments about winning trophies a concern? Who goes first, Saliba or Arteta? I think Arteta will be here for a long time. I think the Cronkies have decided that, board have decided that, and I don't see Arteta slipping out of the top four, which would allow the Cronkies to have to make a decision. I would rather see the ambition of making a decision better than just coming out the top four, that if you don't win something, your job's under pressure. But it doesn't seem that they want that. They seem that they're happy with him challenging, they're happy with being in top four, and that's why it's an ownership problem now, not a Mikel Arteta problem. I'm kind of done with blaming Mikel Arteta, if I'm honest. I look at the ownership now, from now on. It's not Mikel Arteta has messed up in this game, because he's done that before. Mikel Arteta's in-game management wasn't good today. Yep, seen that before. Mikel Arteta played Havertz in midfield and we lost. Yep, seen that before. If we keep seeing that, I'm not going to blame Mikel Arteta. I'm going to look at the ownership who can do something about it, who aren't. So there's no more Arteta out for me. The ownership have got to look at himself. That's the way I see it. Yeah, look, Saliba wants to win trophies. He's made comments about it. If we don't, we ain't going to keep him. It's simple as that, people. And it ain't just him as well. Odegaard, Saka, Declan Rice, Gabriel, Ben White, they'll all do the same. They will all do the same. We've seen this before. Pete says, do you agree with me? We need to strengthen up front and a midfielder in January. If we're serious, Morgan Gibbs White. I like Gibbs White. I do like Gibbs White. I prefer Eze, but I do like Gibbs White. And up top, it's got to be Gyökeres or Isak for me. That's for sure. But we'll see, Pete. I don't think we're getting that in January, mate. I really don't. I think that's waiting until the summer now. We've seen in January, PSR doesn't let you sign anyone. So I think that's where we are at. Ica says, I feel like we're prematurely overreacting. Save the energy after City. Do you think we've been that bad? We faced very difficult teams. No, I think he's got a point here. I don't think we have been in shambles. I don't think we have been shocking. I don't think we need to look at it and go, wow, this guy needs to go. He's absolutely horrendous. If we hadn't won in 6 games, I could quite get behind that. We're just pointing out concerns, Ica. We're just saying that potentially there's a need for XYZ to happen. So big up to you, mate. This one comes in from Kevin. He says, who's more likely to start in the 10 versus City? Zinchenko, Havertz, or Wanyeri? I don't think it'll be any of them. I think Kai will go back up top, and I think Trossard will start in the 10. I think it'll be the same team that played Spurs, but Rice will come in for Jorginho or Partey. I'd actually play Jorginho. I'm sorry, Thomas Partey looked so bad last night that his legs just look like they've gone. So I'd probably play Jorginho and Rice and have Trossard in the 10 and then Havertz up top. And I would play Saka and Sterling because Martinelli has not been good enough and does not warrant a start. He's been so poor. It's incredible. So, yeah, I don't think after that performance you can start Martinelli. And I think that's just the harsh reality of it, in my opinion. Mr. Waffle, Dan, do you think Arteta is deliberately not improving Martinelli play due to his tactics always playing down the right? Okay, so this is what I did say. I can't give Martinelli too many excuses for his individual performances, but around him I can. I don't like the fact that Havertz is there next to him. Then he's got a different 8 next to him. Then he's got a different left back next to him. His surroundings definitely aren't as settled as somebody like Saka, who's got Odegaard, White and Saliba around him every single game. When we get Marino and Calafiori and Timber that are all playing there regularly, we're going to have no more excuses for Martinelli. So that's what we've got to wait and see. I think we can flourish him. I think we can release him. I think what Martinelli needs is somebody in that left 8, like Xhaka, that whips that ball into him that he can run onto. And we haven't had that. We've had him being passed to with his back to goal. We've had him being passed to. I think we need somebody. We need to start looking around him because, it ain't working for Martinelli at the moment. He needs to look at his individual performances, but maybe his confidence has been knocked because of the fact that he's just not had the service around him. So let's see what happens. Big up to all of you. Thank you so much for all of your comments. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your super chats. Thank you, of course, as well to people that have become a new member. I really do appreciate it. Going to be a show that drops at lunchtime. Please make sure that you are there for that one. And also at 5 p.m, I've got a weekend preview show on Manchester City. So let's make sure you're there for that one as well. Big preview, Arsenal Man City tonight at 5 p.m. Going to be with Martin and a few of the other lads. So please make sure you're there. And yeah, big up to every single one of you. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you at 5 p.m. Take it easy. Show Manscaped some love. Click on the pinned comments. Make sure you've selected the beard hedger. You'll get 20% off until the end of this month. Don't miss out on that deal because there's not long left. Please make sure you've hit the like button. At the moment, there's 260 of you watching. There's only 74 likes. Terrible, people. You're moving like Arsenal's attack. Sluggish. Hit the like button. Hit subscribe. Their 2 buttons are free. And it will really help the channel. So thank you so much for being with us. We'll see you next time. Take it easy and love for the love.
Yes, people, Manscaped is back. But this time, it's not for below the belt grooming. Manscaped brings to you the Beard Hedger, the best product on the market when it comes to beard trimmers. The Beard Hedger is unique due to its number of gradient settings. As someone who's purchased this, I won't turn to any other beard trimmer. Check it out for yourself at manscaped.com. And don't forget to use code FTM20 to get 20% off of this product.